Look, I've always been had a dream of doing business on my own because you sort of can choose your own destiny, choose your own story. The day we stop learning is the day we stop having those opportunities. When I graduated from my undergrad, it was the 2008 financial crisis, and all the graduate jobs dried out. I actually tried to apply for quite a while, and some people might take that as a failure, that I have to start from the zero again. But actually,
Today on our episode, I have Stephen Ling. Stephen and I go back to our primary and secondary school days at St Andrews in Brunei Darussalam. I have a good feeling some of our mutual friends on the WhatsApp group will be pleased that we're having this conversation, Stephen. Any- anyway, thank you, Stephen, for taking the time on being on the Middle Hustle podcast. Grateful for this. And let's start by you telling the audience about yourself, specifically after we finish from Form 5 O levels.
no worries.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raman. Do I call you that on this podcast?
A little bit, just a little bit of story. I mean, my full name, you probably know. I've got a long full name. It's the Middle Hustle. So I've just taken the middle part of my name. It's just playing around. Yeah.
Okay, all
Yeah.
good, all good.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if we're using pseudonyms on this.
No, no
Um,
pseudonyms. Yeah.
yeah, I have to apologize to the audience. I have to talk a bit more ASMR style because my wife is in the other side of
Mm.
the house putting the child to sleep. So
Yeah.
don't mind me if I start to just talk a bit more quieter, but in directly into the mic, so hopefully they can hear.
Go for
Um,
it, Stephen. Yeah.
but I guess a bit of an intro. Thank you, Shafiq or Raman, for having me on today. It was kind of a fun thing to do. I've always wanted to be sort of like on a podcast just for fun as well, and it's good to have a familiar face on the other side. And I know we only have a short time here, but a quick intro, I suppose, is I grew up in Brunei. I did secondary school there. A good friend with Shafiq and other people in the year as well. Um, we were in the science stream together in high school, and after that we went our separate ways. I went to Malaysia for a couple of years, and then I did university in Melbourne at Monash University. My degree was in a Bachelor of Business and Commerce, majoring in accounting and banking finance, and then I did a 1 year Masters of Applied Finance after that as well. And then I went into the workforce after that, working for a software company called MYOB for about 2 years, where I became a level 2 product specialist. They call that role product specialist because we supported the customers more who had more complicated software issues in using the software. And after that, I joined the accounting industry as a graduate accountant. I did that for about 10 years, up to a senior manager level, where I was quite involved in sort of like a finance software consulting projects as well, finance automation. Still did tax because that's the basic bread and butter of being in an accounting firm, regular work. And but the cream on top was definitely for me was always IT consulting. Picked up programming after that, and did a short stint as a CFO. Sorry, a bit long, but I'll try to keep it short. Um, did that for almost 2 years, and then left that. Took a bit more of a break. Studied a bit more programming by myself, and then joined another accounting firm, but this time as a practice manager, managing their IT and projects. Did that for about 2 years, and now I'm out there on my own. Started a project company called Superstack IT, where me and 2 to 3 other people work on projects together to implement IT projects for our customers. So yeah, that's a short summary of my life so far.
Oh, awesome,
From a
awesome,
career
Stephen. I
perspective.
mean, it sounds like you've been through quite a few. Uh, I would say career change. Yeah.
Yeah, you can say I've always sort of been a bit hard to choose between sometimes two. Back in the in high school, I won a couple medals if you can remember
Mm,
in the computer science competition. But in the end, I followed the pathway of being an accountant.
yeah.
But I still had a strong passion for IT, and that sort of showed in the work as well that I did. That's how I got my hands dirty in IT consulting and finance software consulting. And I think basically because if you have the mind and the passion for it, it will show in the way you speak, and you get excited, and so naturally, people would want you involved in their projects. Yeah.
Interesting, Stephen. I mean, it sounds very inspiring. So now you have your own IT company. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Me and two other people started it. We're just a small team at the moment, but now we've got a few customers that are on a recurring retainer basis.
Okay.
And we also support mainly accounting firms. We support their tech stack, the integration of all their cloud softwares, and also look after the workflow of their staff, um, user onboarding, offboarding. So from basic IT administration all the way to complex projects like Power BI, data analysis, and things like that.
Okay. You said something about accounting. What sort of made you transition from accounting to IT
Good
or
question.
yeah.
Good question. I was always in accounting. I guess that's a very open-ended question, I suppose. But to put it simply, when I first studied accounting, it was actually quite dry and boring, but I persisted at it, um, not knowing exactly how it would look like day to day in the workforce. But when I joined the accounting firm as a graduate accountant, the first 2 to 3 years was tough because you actually had to go through the grind of doing lots of stuff manually, even though we had software to help us. And then what I found is that if an accountant can really benefit from knowing how to use computers in a different way. When I say that, what I mean is using the computer to do the repetitive work for you, so programmatically, so that it just speeds up the way you do accounting. So I found a niche in my, I guess, in my talent to be able to find those ways of using even just simple things like using Excel to summarize data in a very quick and easy way, or clean data in a very quick and easy way, so that we could use it for bookkeeping, or we could use it for importing transactions into accounting software. So rather than typing each row, imagine an Excel table, rather than typing each row by row, you would you would export the data in whatever format it is, paste it into Excel, use Excel to transform the data so that you could suck it into your accounting software. So it just speeds up your work for you. You don't have to spend hours typing on a keyboard line by line anymore. You just using the computer in a different way, in a smarter way, so that you just get to the same result. And I would argue a more accurate result because you bypass the human error aspect of typing on a keyboard, for example. And that's where I found a niche initially, and that got me started into more deeper forms of programming, where you can either use Python, for example, to do a lot of ways of automating and cleaning data in different ways.
Mm.
But to put it simply, because I don't bore the audience too much, it's just using the tools in a smarter way to save you time. That's what
Yeah.
technology is. That's why I'm passionate about technology.
That's. I mean, you sound really like inspired, Stephen. That you are, you're doing from where you were doing accounting now IT. You sound like you're happy with what you're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Look,
Yeah.
accounting is still a great subject to know. And
Mm.
I would recommend that anyone who does any business
Yeah.
learn the language of business, which is accounting. If
Yes.
you learn accounting, you know how to read a financial statement. You know how to understand how well your business is doing. But at the same time, that's just report numbers at a high level. The
Mm.
nitty gritty of accounting can be quite boring and tedious. That's where technology comes in. If you have a layer of technology that actually picks up a lot of the heavy lifting for you, and then I'm just a puppet master at the top, just doing little things here and there, just to make sure the system is humming along. So that's how
Mm.
I see myself. I want to be able to, show my clients that. I want to be able to teach people how to do that. I basically want to avoid the situation or experience where anyone has to sit in front of a desk doing things manually.
Mm.
And now we're in the age of artificial intelligence as well. We just tell the computer what to do, and it goes off and does it for us. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah. So I was just gonna ask you about AI. Has that? I mean, what are your thoughts about AI?
Look, it's like a tool.
Yeah.
So I would mirror it with the for example, there's this very good accounting software called Zero that was born out of New Zealand and now has taken most of the world by storm. From for small to medium businesses, it's definitely taken Australia by storm because it's really kicked out the company I used to work for, MYOB, from the number one position, and now it's taken over that number one position. Um, Bookkeepers were really worried because Zero allowed um, people, business owners, to even do their own bookkeeping in very quick ways. So big bookkeepers felt very threatened by Zero, and so there was you can almost put bookkeepers, separate bookkeepers, into two different types. The first one would be they would fear the technology and they would try not to use it, or they would try not to tell their clients about it. And then there's a second type of bookkeeper where they would embrace the technology and end up doing the work of 10 bookkeepers with the technology. So the first cohort of bookkeepers slowly phase away. They died off. And what we have left is a more efficient form of bookkeeping because the industry now knows how to do the work of 10 times more with
Wow.
a better system. So with AI, I see it the same way. The people who embrace technology, who embrace AI, will be able to 10x their output
Yes.
compared to if they don't use it. So, in some sense, we are forced to embrace it in order to be competitive in the market. But at the same time, you're doing less of the manual work now. You're finding ways of leveraging the technology to make your life easier. So I think there's two ways to look at it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Stephen. I mean, what are you doing right now? You said super stack it. I can see it on your T-shirt. You've got something on super stack it. What
Yes.
do you want to tell us a little bit more about that? What are you doing right
Sure,
now?
sure, sure. The
Yeah.
name sort of is Superstack IT, and it's really about supercharging a business's tech stack. And so, whatever business people are having there, I strongly believe can benefit from using the right combinations of technology so that you can reduce your costs, your admin costs. You can increase your output. You can even use technology nowadays to do lots of marketing, automate a lot of marketing for you. So
Mm,
if you leverage the right technology, it actually makes the company, the business more lean and more effective. So that's where we specialize in it, and in particular, I specialize more in for helping accountants because that's my background of
yes.
helping accountants digitize their business. Yeah,
Awesome. Now, what was the inception of to your IT company?
the
Probably
inception.
inception. Like what made you
Oh,
start your own company?
oh yeah. Look, I've always had a dream of like doing business on my own because it you sort of can choose your own destiny, choose your own story. You sort of played those video games where there are the open-ended ones, and then there's the ones where it's very linear. So like I always tend to like the more open-ended ones because you can sort of choose which path you want to take. So in that sense, starting a business brings that excitement to me as
Mm,
well. I'm not doing it alone. If I was doing it alone, it'd be very tough. So
yes.
I'm thankful to God that they're like-minded individuals that I've partnered up with that can assist, and we sort of keep each other accountable in that journey. But yeah, I guess the trigger point was the opportunity arose when the three of us got together and just chatted about our passions, and then we had this idea where let's give it a shot. Like we told ourselves not to quit our day jobs. That we just sort of treat it as like a side hustle until it grew a bit more. In the end, two of us were forced to quit our jobs for other reasons, and then we started to spend more time in the business, and then the business became, took became a little bit more successful day by day. The more we spend time on working on it, and for me anyway, I still do a little bit of side CFO stuff
Mm,
because that sort of is quite stable and consistent. The project work is a passion sort of thing. So like when the work comes in, it's fantastic because we get to experiment, we get to see results from the projects that we implement. Um, yeah, so various different reasons. Another personal reason would be I needed something that was a lot more flexible in time for me as well, given that I've just become a new parent, maybe about a year and a bit ago. We started this little company side hustle became my sort of main thing now, mainly also because it allowed me that flexibility to be there for my family. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, superb. I mean, it's an inspiring thing, Stephen, and I wish you all the best in your continuing your
Thank
success.
you.
Now, what sort of challenges have you faced in your career?
Good question actually.
Yeah,
I think communication is always something to work on in my career. You can, I mean, there are always ways to better communicate something, to strike a better chord with people, with the clients, to understand the client quicker, or be able to explain yourself in a more succinct way. I would say that and I did not know this at the time, but when you know, my original plan was always to become an accountant first.
yeah,
But when I graduated from my undergrad, it was the 2008 financial crisis, and all the graduate jobs dried up. I actually tried to apply for quite a while, and because I had a part-time sales role then just to keep me going, I had it
mm,
while I was in uni,
yeah,
and that taught me important communication skills. And it was a blessing in disguise. I didn't know at the time that communication would be so important. Um, and it actually helped me land my job in MYOB as technical support level one. And then later on, in 1 year, got promoted as well to level two, which is actually quite rare to get
mm,
promoted that quickly.
yeah,
But I think it was down to the ability for me to actually solve the client's problems quicker, and also really it's just down to communication, understanding. I understood what the problem was very quickly from just listening to the client, compared to I guess my peers at the time. And because of that, background in accounting as well, because MRB is an accounting software. It's sort of a easy way to advance quicker because I knew the subject matter as well. But communication, Shafiq, I think is the main thing that I found challenging. But at the same time, when you actually rise to the challenge, the rewards are there, because it overflowed into other areas of my life, and not just professional career, but even just speaking to you, for example, or speaking to new people, or speaking to friends, being able to just communicate with them in a way at their level and their wavelength, I think is
yeah,
so important. And that's something that being forced to do sales, or being forced to listen to clients on the phone, because it was a phone job at the start, and then
yeah,
later level two you could do remote access. So remote access made things easier, but that's sort of the last resort. They forced you to try to resolve the query on the phone, just so you only had audio to listen
yeah,
to
yeah.
try and understand the customer's problem.
Correct.
So
No, no, I totally agree with you.
yeah.
Communication, I think, in every field, IT, I think in what I do as well, medicine, you have to have good communication, and sometimes you have to talk to people at their
Mm.
wavelength so people can understand you. I think that goes without saying. Communication is very vital, especially in sales and business. Yeah, 100%. It's spot on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. If you want
yeah,
to elicit a good result from your collaboration with people or cooperating with people, you need good communication skills. Otherwise, people won't open up as easily, or won't take you as seriously as they should.
absolutely. I agree with that. Now,
Yeah.
I think my next question would be, what's your message to the upcoming youngsters who intend to follow the same footpath?
Oh well, my path is really off the beaten track. I followed my passions.
Yeah,
Um, if I could do it all over again, would I do it
yeah,
differently? Maybe I'll do a few things differently, but I try to live my life with no regrets as well, because every every wrong turn is new experiences. Every obstacle is actually an opportunity for you to learn something as well. Every failure actually is a failure. They say is the greatest teacher as well. And so my life hasn't been a straight, going upwards trajectory. But I guess I like that it's not so predictable as well, because it's not boring.
yep. That's right. You
And
can't
so,
you can't have it boring, lah.
well, we're only human, right? And we
That's
need
right.
to we need to be inspired. We need to be we need to live by our passions. If not, life would be just the same every day, I think. And
Mundane becomes really mundane.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And when
Yeah.
Monday comes around, you're feeling like, oh no, like another long week to go through. But what if you can actually, be so? What if you found work so enjoyable that you can't wait to talk to your next client or to actually sit at your desk to do something?
Mm.
If you find the right mix of subject matter or type of work, and you're able to fit it together in a way that fits your stage of life. So I have to say, I was watching another podcast just this week as well, and
Yeah.
this Harvard professor was talking about different type of career paths, and he was in one particular one he said was quite interesting was something called spirals. There's a type of person's career path called spirals, which he says that I'll give you guys a summary, which is like sometimes it's not so predictable. There are seasons where you go through as a, like for me, for example, go through as an accountant, and
Yeah.
then you reach that end of that season where like it's not something that you were happy with doing anymore, but it was a good run, you enjoyed it, but your time's up, and now it's time to look for something else. And some people might take that as a failure, that I have to start from the zero again. But actually, that's not the case. I didn't find it to be the case for me. I was
Mm.
able to use my accounting experience, degree, and the soft skills I picked up with servicing clients over the years, and pivot into tech consulting as well. And yes, it was not a straight up transition. It was actually a gradual transition in some sense, because I was still involved in finance software projects or IT projects that were not pure IT. They still had some accounting component. But later on, now I'm finding myself doing completely IT related projects, and I think my key message to, I guess, like people who perhaps want to follow their passions is to be adaptable. Sometimes you won't be able to get the outcome that you want straight away, and that's okay. Sometimes you just have to follow the door that's open in front of you, and when you walk through it, there'll be other doors that open up that you can pick from. But one thing I am very certain of is that the day we stop learning is the day we stop having those opportunities. So actually, the right posture to have is to be in one of humility. Really, is to one that's really open to learning, and keep on learning. And even now, every day, I'm learning new stuff from my 1 year old daughter. So
Yeah.
she teaches me new things, even about
Yeah.
myself, my
Yeah.
limits. And you as a parent, you probably know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
absolutely. I mean, well said, Stephen. I mean, like you said, you have to be adaptable. You have to accept failure. Failure is a very good, very strong, very powerful lesson, and the way you get up from the failure. That's how you learn.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. If
it's
you keep
it's
picking
how
yourself up,
picking
yeah.
yourself up. Yes, yeah. Now you touched on something called it's improved. How has this career or in your passion, career turned passion, passion turned career changed, helped in the quality in your lifestyle?
Quality and lifestyle. So I guess I'm kind of blessed, kind of lucky that in IT consulting, it can be quite lucrative if you find the right opportunities as well. So in that sense, if we're talking about making wealth, it is there to be made. I guess we had the whole Silicon Valley boom a number of years back. Of course, there's the dot-com crash. We won't go into that too much, but essentially, the knowledge economy, which is I suppose what I'm part of now, if you have the right knowledge, it can be quite valuable to the right person. So the key thing is being able to know what value the knowledge is that you have, or where to get it if you don't have it, and then how to find the market, the people that actually will value that knowledge, so that you can apply it, get those outcomes for them. And if you can connect the dots that way, you can get really good results. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
just talking about something totally different, Stephen. Yeah, my podcast sort of talks about side hustles, middle, as in the sort of in the working class. You touched again something about as your side, side hustle sort of thing. What do you think is? Do you feel that the cost of living has become really high? I mean, what are your thoughts on the cost of living and
Yeah, absolutely.
s-
Good question, Shafiq. Look, I mean, I'm a little bit more older now. I mean, we're about the same age. I guess I
Yeah.
shouldn't say. We're past the 40-year mark.
Yes.
Um, look, I think it's an interesting one because when I was younger, I'm just assuming for yourself the same. Where you're working, you're earning good money. We're looking at our own wealth in isolation, but now, especially after COVID, when government has been spending money, not wisely, especially in Victoria as well. I have to say, the state where I live in, it's pushed up land taxes all the way up quite high as well, and you can see that budget strain, and they're trying to claw back money in different ways. I guess inflation's also through the roof. Look, I think it's harder for younger people. It's the opportunities are not the same for someone who just graduated now versus my time and versus my parents' time. It's just not the same. Post World War Two, after World War Two, there was like a economic reset, of sorts, and the opportunities were there for the baby boomers to really. It was not easy. They didn't have the technology to. They have their own sets of challenges, I admit, but you can a single income family can actually buy a house, whereas like now it's at least dual income to buy a house if you want to live in a good suburb, you know. So I would say it's a lot tougher now for the younger generation to get on the wealth accumulation ladder. For us in our 40s, we're a little bit more established, a little, it's a little bit better for us. But I'm just looking at my daughter now. I'm like thinking, oh no, I think I better help her save up for a house. If not, she may not be able to afford it in the future, because that's how the housing market has sort of deteriorated in Australia for the last, like 20, 30 years, since it's never gone down, right? It's always been going up. And salary doesn't rise as fast as well. So I think the world is going to an interesting place. And I won't go too much into all the tough concepts here, but um, this concept of there's a YouTuber called Gary's Economics on YouTube, and I encourage you guys to just have a look, check out. He's based in the UK. He's an advocate for wealth taxes, and I know people don't like that because your family's worked hard to keep the wealth for these generations. Why would you want to give it away? Blah 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 blah. Fair enough. I mean, he wasn't really talking about taxing every family, but it was more of taxing the ultra wealthy, because the rules are now in favor for the ultra wealthy, and that has eaten away at the middle class actually. So for mutual prosperity of the entire country, I strongly believe that there needs to be a strong middle class market of families of people that live in the middle class, where a fair day's work gets you a fair pay. Um, that's not happening at the moment in Australia, which is a bit sad. So I'm hoping that things may change with government policies and things like that, where they will rein in, not just rein in government's unwise government spending, but actually find ways to redistribute wealth, because that's really the main reason why taxes exist. It's to redistribute wealth so that everyone wins. Yeah, not just one particular small section of the economy winning. Yeah, so that needs to happen. Otherwise, the same status quo will keep perpetuating shuffling, and
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
bit
You
worried
know,
that our kids won't be able to afford to buy houses.
I agree. I agree. It's you like I mean, you said we're past that age. We're sort of past 40. We're sort of comfortable, but still, people are still finding it hard to make ends meet,
Mm,
even in their 50s. It's real struggle for some people, and
exactly.
sometimes
Yeah.
just food. Just yeah. Sometimes just paycheck by paycheck and hardly any savings. It's hard for some people. Even at our generation, we're finding it this hard. You can imagine the next generation, like you said, it's going to be difficult to purchase a house. Probably pensions won't even be there, but in a
Yeah.
couple of years' time. So
Yeah.
yeah, you just have to sort of make a nest and build it up as you go along.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we have to protect our own family as well.
Yes. Yes.
And I think the problem with having that as your main priority without looking at the whole picture as well, which is what I've been sort of doing the deep dive and spending my time reading and looking into, is that because families have focused on families for a long time, and they've forgotten about public policy. They've forgotten about uh, making the rules fair for everyone, not just themselves. If everyone just protests, if you heard of the term NIMBY, Shafiq,
No,
NIMBY, not in
what's
my
that?
backyard, not
What's
in
that
my
called?
backyard.
Not in my
NIMBY,
backyard. NIMD. Okay, no lah.
NIMBY, yeah, NIMBY, not in my backyard. What
Uh,
it means is they are the types
yeah.
of people where they say they'll be okay with progress and development,
Mm.
but just don't build that building near me so that it will block my view in my backyard. You know what I mean? So if everyone keeps protecting their own interests, what will
Correct.
happen is that
Yeah.
the ultra rich who have influence in society to form the rules, to lobby government, they'll
Yeah.
get away with it,
Yes.
and the same situation will continue to perpetuate, I think, into the next generation, which is quite sad. Yeah.
It is. It is. Which segues into my next question, Stephen. What's 5 to 10 years, in your view, that's going to look like in your society, in your industry?
Good question, Shafiq. Depends on whether I'm in a pessimistic mood or an optimistic mood, but I try to I
Let's do a
try
little
to
bit of both.
I try to look optimistically. Well,
Yeah.
being a technology enthusiast
Yeah.
myself, I think the age of self-driving cars is quite near already.
Mm.
The age of AI doing a lot of the work for us. We might even have roboticized like help around the house in the
Mm.
future as well.
Yeah.
Think of the Jetsons, I mean, this is really extreme, but think of like a
Jetsons.
I forgot the female robot. I mean, robots have no gender, but you know that the female robot in
Yeah,
Jetsons
they probably have to
helping you
look up
around in
what
the house.
They have to look up what Jetsons are and Flintstones. Those were cartoons back in the 90s, correct?
Yeah,
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 90s.
showing
Yeah.
our age,
Yeah.
showing our age there. Um, yeah, so on the optimistic side, we've got technology and perhaps AI and robotics being able to advance our standard of living quite well. But on the flip side, the pessimistic side is how is society going to transition from the loss of certain jobs, and how do we sustain the people who have been displaced as well? So that's a big question for governments and for society to ask themselves, for employers to ask themselves. Like, we see in the news that a lot of companies have let go of a lot of staff because they said that they're going to apply AI. What I find anecdotally in the market is that graduate roles have dried up again, just same as when I graduated, mainly because companies don't want to spend when they don't have a good outlook of growth in the future. They wouldn't hire more staff, right? And they don't want to spend time and resources on training someone who doesn't have experience. So that was in 2008. Now it's if we've got AI and AI is able to produce the work of 10 graduates, even though the quality is not as good as a senior,
Mm.
we could still use AI to produce the same amount of work and get a senior person to oversee the AI. So that's kind of like the thinking and what's happening now, which is bad for graduates actually, because they need the exposure, they need the experience, they need the mentorship in the market, and I don't
Interesting.
have an answer yet
Yeah.
for that displacement, but that's actually happening now, which is quite sad.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. I mean, sounds pessimistic, Stephen.
Sorry, man. Sorry, but on the flip side, humanity
Yeah.
will always progress and survive. So I'm sure people will find a way to move
Yeah.
forward,
Yeah.
and we
There's
always
always a
have.
way. There's always a way.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, final question, Stephen. Is there anything that I've missed that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think you've asked a lot of good questions, and I've spoken about quite a lot of things already.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to leave the listeners on a pessimistic note, but I would say be excited and be open minded to technology. I think even though AI has a lot of good and bad, it's at the end of the day just a tool. If you're able to master the tool, you can basically do the work of 10 people, essentially. Um, Now, what's interesting is that now this is a flip side where it shows that predictions are always wrong. We always thought that when automation AI happens, that it was the menial jobs that would go away. But the opposite is happening now with AI because it's actually the thinking jobs that are sort of going away, and the customer service people are still in demand. The people who do bricklaying and construction are still in demand.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
blue collar workers basically are still in demand.
Correct.
So you can never. Sometimes you just shouldn't listen to the news, or you shouldn't listen to people like me who delve so deeply into all its topics. Sometimes you just can't predict the future as well. So if you close off your mind and you're pessimistic to the future, you might just miss the next big change, and you won't be able to ride the wave, right? So I encourage listeners to, even though there's always going to be threats in the future, but there's also fantastic opportunities. You just need to know how to look and how to leverage what you have. Yeah.
Yeah, well said, Stephen. Superb. Now, I think that's about it, Stephen. Thank you very much for this conversation. It has been really inspiring. It's been really food for thought. And thank you very much. In the future, we might find another topic. If you have another interesting topic, then we can chat about that.
Anytime. Glad to be on.
Thanks, Stephen.
Thanks,
Thank
Shafiq.
you. Thank you.
See you.